Hey everyone, it's Paula with Living Out Loud. Welcome. Today is a special topic. I know how hard it can be to shift perspectives when you feel really stuck in a particular one. So today's topic is called Cameras 1, 2, and 3, How Your Perspectives Shape Your Reality. So, as you know, we have different perspectives on life, and especially at different times in our life. Let's just go through the 3 cameras real quick. Camera 1 is the lens of pain and fear. That's camera 1. Camera 2 is neutral. Nothing is good or bad, it just is. Camera 3 is love and compassion. So, quick review. Camera 1 is fear and pain. Camera 2 is neutral. Nothing is good or bad, it just is. And camera 3 is love and compassion. Collectively, as a human species, I believe that we get stuck in camera 1 of pain and fear. Our brain has been wired to look for danger, and at times it can go into override, and at times we can be absolutely stuck there. And just to illustrate an example of how all 3 cameras operate from your point of view, we're just going to go for a real neutral setting here. Imagine you're at work. There's a colleague who generally keeps to themselves, doesn't say a whole lot, no one knows why. But one day as you're walking through the hall, this coworker passes by and says, "Hello." If you are in camera 1, pain and fear, a potential reaction you might have would be, "Hello, where have you been? You never talk to me. Why are you talking to me now? The only time you would want to talk to me is because you want something, right? Of course that's the only reason you want to talk to me, is you must want something. I don't want to give you anything because you've never been nice to me." And you can see how camera 1 would go. Camera 2 is neutral. That colleague says, "Hello," and you say, "Hello," and you keep walking. There's no internal dialogue. You're not thinking anything in particular. You move on and you get to your destination, which is so-and-so's office. That would be camera 2. Camera 3 would be love and compassion. So when that coworker says, "Hello," you go, "Hello." And as you continue walking, you think, "Oh my gosh, so-and-so's finally coming out of their shell. I cannot wait to get to know them better. Maybe I can finally strike up a conversation." That would be camera 3. So you can imagine how, whichever camera you're operating from, how you might end up treating that colleague in your day-to-day interactions if that person was to continue saying hello. The person with camera 1 would probably be scowling, bristling, rushing past them, making it clear they don't want contact. The person who's neutral wouldn't be giving any indication that they like or don't like that person. So depending on that colleague, they may or may not pursue additional interaction. Camera 3, the person coming from a loving kindness, is going to have a very bright, happy expression when they see that person, and is going to come across as far more approachable and friendly. So it's important to bring awareness to where your perspective is at any given time, because it can affect your life in so many ways. So let's bring that example up and how it could impact you. If you're lost in a new city and it's dark and you're needing to ask directions, it would be smart to be coming from the lens of pain and fear if you find yourself in a dark alley and there's a group of strangers that you don't know. Probably a good thing to be in that pain and fear lens, because you're going to want to be able to dash out of harm's way. I don't think you want to be going into that darkened alley with those questionable strangers from a love and compassion perspective, thinking, "Oh, they're probably just big teddy bears. Never mind the glint of those silver chains and the great big guns in their holsters." Probably not going to be a good night for you by the end. And the person coming from a neutral perspective may not have that visceral gut reaction fast enough to get them out of harm's way. They may think they can just walk past them without making eye contact. So each perspective has its place and its merits. You do not want to be going into a 5-year-old's birthday party from a fear and pain perspective, scared to death that every child who's coughing is choking when really it's just drinking Kool-Aid down the wrong tube. You're not going to be fun at that party. And if you're a neutral at a wedding, you're going to have the most boring look on your face that the happy couple is probably not going to be thrilled to see you in the audience. And if you're coming from a place of love and compassion, when you're in a toxic relationship that's truly abusive towards you and you're trying to love and compassion your way through it, you may ultimately be causing yourself harm. So, again, every perspective has its place. So, there's something I call the camera 1, camera 2 game. Whichever camera you're operating from, it helps throughout the day to play this game and shift to a different camera. You can start from whichever camera you like, and you can bring in whichever other camera dimension that you want. And the point is to bring a fresh perspective to whatever you're faced with throughout the day. If you find yourself stuck in pain and fear, for example, maybe when your boss is trying to get your attention, rather than tuning them out because you're drowning in your own negative thoughts that this person hates you, perhaps you can shift to camera 2, which is neutral, and say, they're not here to punish me, they're here to tell me some genuine information. What do they have to say? That can be useful. Same with love and compassion versus pain and fear. Sometimes in life, the person reaching out to us who's looking for love and compassion actually triggers our pain and our fear. And it's a knee-jerk reaction. You're going to notice when it happens because you're going to either lash out at them by accident and then come back and go, oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I did that. I'm so sorry. Or you can pause and breathe and go, am I triggered? And did they mean to trigger me? And if not, what were they really after? Did they just need me to validate their feelings and not go into a tirade about myself? It can be valuable to shift perspectives. It's easy to get stuck and not know how to get your way out. So that camera 1, camera 2 game is easy to play. It's not scary to do. You don't have to beat yourself up if you're stuck in a particular camera lens that isn't serving you well. That's why I like playing that game. And as for a personal example, this past weekend was for me an emotional roller coaster for a variety of reasons. And yesterday, even though it was Father's Day and I called my dad, had a great conversation. The moment the conversation was over, I went right back into my fear and pain perspective that I was in. I was just worried about certain things in my life. And there were things in my past that I was afraid were going to happen again. One of them being, what if we end up having to move again before the year's over? We've moved every year for 3 years, right around Thanksgiving, and it's a real fear. And for whatever reason, my brain just wouldn't let go of the fear of having to move again. Didn't matter where, I just didn't want to pack up stuff all over again. I still have boxes I haven't unpacked because I just can't stand the idea of having to pack them again. So I couldn't get out, and I was trying to neutralize that perspective and trying to remember that we have a new roof, the house is solid, everything's fine, everything's genuinely fine. But it wasn't working. I was still just chattering away at my husband with all my fears, and he's trying to help neutralize the situation too. It's not working. So sometimes you just have to admit that you're stuck. And I was. So we sat outside in the backyard and did what a lot of people do when they're stuck. Got on Facebook, scrolled through my feed, stumbled upon a post that changed my perspective immediately. Someone I had worked with in the past passed away unexpectedly. And that was a shocker. They were absolutely 100% fine on Saturday, and on Sunday they called into work where I used to work, said they were in the hospital, and then they were gone. 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 That pain and fear lens just shifted right out of there on its own. And all I had was a flood of messages from people who still worked there and had seen her the day before, and a flood of messages from people like me who no longer worked there and perhaps moved away like myself, and just all of us just piling in on each other's, Facebook Messenger to give each other love and support and comfort, and to talk about how amazing Miss Marty Bentley was. I still get teared up about it. So that woman cared very much for her residents. She cared very much about our activities department, which I was a part of. And she used to love singing Harper Valley PTA to our residents. And I loved her for that, because for a few minutes, I didn't have to tap dance my way and entertain the residents myself or try to convince someone else to sing. She would just go for it, and she went all out, and I loved her. I just loved her for it. And she had no idea what an impact she made on me, being so caring, and she has no idea how much I loved her, because like most of us, when we leave a job, we mean to keep in touch, and we just don't. And you just don't think about it until it's too late. So with that perspective shift, Jeff and I went out to dinner on the Riverwalk, and I just saw the world with new eyes. And there's no way to describe that feeling unless you've lived it yourself. And you're just watching all the leaves on the trees that this person's never going to see again. You feel the breeze on your skin. There's ducks with baby ducklings waddling right past us, and all these beautiful and amazing things. And I realized how silly all my worries had been, and that even if I had to move yet again, that I was blessed and lucky to be moving. So sometimes when it comes to perspective shifts, life external will come crashing down on your internal world and change it for you. And if you're stuck, you're allowed to be stuck there. And bringing awareness to that stuckness is key, because at least you can watch yourself going into that same pattern and make peace with it. So in those times where I've been stuck in that pain and fear, I will find myself saying, okay, Paula, it's gonna be fine. You can stop now. It's gonna be okay. It's been okay in the past, it's okay now. And you just watch yourself keep being fearful, keep being scared, and you just at some point get tired of it, and you surrender, and you're able to release all that pain and fear and worry, and ultimately realize you are okay in this very moment. And if you're watching me right now, you're breathing, your eyesight is working, your ears are working, you're okay. And things will shift when they're supposed to shift for you. And it's okay to be stuck there. And it's also okay to ask people for help in shifting that perspective. And you definitely want to have that kind, loving support that helps you shift that perspective. You don't want the Chicken Little in your life to help you with that. You want the wise beyond their years person to help you and put things in a different frame of mind for you, help you through a stuck perspective. And who you surround yourself with matters. Think crab mentality. If you don't know what that is, you can have a bucket of live crabs. All those crabs can actually escape the bucket. They're perfectly capable of climbing out of there and setting themselves free when the person who caught them isn't watching. However, because they're crabs, when one starts to try and escape, the other crabs pull them down. So be mindful of the company you keep when you're trying to improve your life or do something that's healthy for you. Are the people in your life the kind that will help lift you up, or are they the kind of people who are going to drag you back down? That matters. Also, There's the crow mentality. Crows are capable of expressing gratitude and generosity. You may have heard of the little girl who would leave out peanuts for a particular crow, and that crow kept bringing her little presents. Are the people you surround yourself by expressing gratitude for everyday little things? That matters. And if ever you're the type that needs help shifting out of that perspective, and the people around you just aren't cutting it, you can always hire a coach, and I would be honored to help you shift your perspective. So I wish you an amazing and beautiful week ahead. This broadcast is dedicated to one Miss Marty Bentley, and I wish you all an amazing week and to take in all the little things that mean so much. And thank you for watching.